2023 KTM 300 SX. Today we're going to show you how to remove the rear shock. We are going to be replacing the rear shock spring, and as everyone knows, on the newer KTMs, all of your battery, your ECU, even your fuel pump harness are underneath the seat here and tied into the subframe, so it's a big hassle to take the subframe off. So we're going to show you how to get the rear shock off without removing the rear subframe. It's going to involve removing the swing arm. And what we were doing is we picked up a used part from my local suspension guy, Decker Performance in Platte City, Missouri. We picked up this spring right here, WP 48260I-N. Going to be replacing that spring right there. You can see the part number right there. And the reason for that is I weigh 205 pounds, and we were not able to properly set the sag with that spring, so we're going to increase our spring rate. The maximum dynamic sag you want on these KTMs is 25 millimeters, and at the maximum we still had 117 millimeters of sag, and we want 103. So this spring should do the trick. So we're going to show you how to get it out. These are the tools you need laid out here. A couple breaker bars. We've got a 19 mil socket, 17 mil, 14 mil, a 30 millimeter socket, 8 millimeter socket, some cable cutters, and some bearing grease, because when you have everything apart, you want to grease it up real good and put it back together, especially on a brand new bike. Like, it doesn't hurt to just take it apart anyways and grease everything up. They rarely grease them adequately, in my opinion, from the factory. So we're going to show you how this goes. First thing is, we're going to remove the rear wheel. First, we're going to use our 30 mil socket, 1/2 inch breaker bar. And then your axle bolt should come out nice and easy if you just support the rear wheel. It just slides out of there. Move it forward, drop your chain. Don't have to undo your chain. Just take it off. And the rear wheel is off. And next we're going to remove the frame guards on both sides right here. They're held on by an 8 millimeter socket down here, and then of course a zip tie up top. Make sure you have replacement zip ties lying around. And when we take this frame protector off, it's going to reveal the swing arm bolt on the other side. Then we'll jump over to the other side and show you that as well. Right side frame protector. There's a clip under here that you have to unclip. I'm trying not to go too hard on it, not to break it, but we'll get it undone. Then with the frame protector out of the way, the swing arm bolt's going to come out this direction. You're going to want to undo the top shock bolt, the bottom shock bolt, and the linkage bolt right there. Alright, got all those loosened up. The shock still has tension on it, so the bolts probably won't come out, but once we punch the swing arm bolt out, it will come right out. Before you do that, you want to remove your rear brake lining caliper so the swing arm can drop down without damaging that. And guys, we just took the swing arm bolt out. Now it came out by hand, nice and easy, but not a bit of grease on it, so we're definitely going to change that when we put it back in. Alright, got our caliper off, got the shock bolts out, and now the swing arm's just hanging there. We're just going to work the shock out the back. Alright, we got the shock out. It took some finagling because the new airbox kind of gets in the way of taking it out, but if you twist it just right, it's pretty easy to see. You'll get it out. And so now we're going to remove the old spring and put on the new spring. Or actually, remove the new spring, put on the old spring, but you get it. So what you want to do is you want to loosen your lock ring here, run it all the way up until this no longer has tension on it, and then these two pieces come apart and allow you to slide the spring off and slide the new one on. So once you get it loose, this little metal ring at the bottom comes up, which then allows you to separate these two plastic pieces. I don't know if I'll be able to do it one-handed, but they come apart, and then everything slides off the bottom. And of course, use this opportunity to clean everything up, grease it up, and put it back together. Alright, to get the shock back in, removed the silencer, and I would assume it would make it a lot easier to go out as well, but to get it back in I had to remove the silencer, and it just slides in real nice. And finally we got it all back together. Reassembly in the same order that you took it apart. Make sure, I like to stuff a rag between the chain and the sprocket and then run it down here, and that will hold your chain adjusters tight against the adjusters, and then you can tighten down your axle bolt. Silencer back on, we put some grease on the axle bolt, on the swing arm bolt, and we put some in the bearings all the way around. Again, from the factory guys, they just don't come with not enough grease. With the new shock on, make sure you set your sag to what it should be, because even if you return it to the right thread count, it's going to be way off of what it was. And go rip!